on this episode of Bot versus Con.
Hey, welcome back, BVC fans. As always, I'm Bobby the Bot.
And I'm James the Con.
And we have a special news segment for you today. This is the start of the Predaking Wars. Okay, it's really not. But there were some new figures that came out we really wanted to talk about and just kind of bring you a quick snippet of news. How's that sound, James?
That sounds good. Why don't we just jump right into it?
Let's do it.
This is Bot versus Con. Make sure to subscribe and consider becoming a member.
All right, so here we have the Takara Adamas Machina AMT-02 Predaking and Predacons. That's a mouthful to say there. And I can't remember what show this is, James. Do you know what show this is that they're showing off at?
This is, I think, the T-Spark.
That's okay.
Convention, remember?
Okay.
I don't know where it's at, I don't remember, but I remember saying I wanted to go.
Yes, I did too. Yeah, so we have some first-hand pictures here, I guess a little bit clearer. What are your thoughts?
I think it looks like it should. It's an Ocular Max. We have some zoomed-in pictures. First thoughts were, oh, wow, that looks great. And then I started looking at it. And I'm going to stop for there because I want to look at the close-up images first. One thing I did want to point out with this is that Rodimus is about 9.1 inches tall, according to several sources. So this is not a big combiner.
Yeah.
I mean, Rodimus is even crouched and further back, and he still does not look huge.
Over half.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know this is either, I think it would be like Legends Plus. Does that make sense?
Oversized Legends?
Yeah, just not Chug quite, but that's, again, my first thoughts. I'd love to see this more in person. What do you think? And then we'll get into the nitty-gritty details.
First thing I saw were the posters behind, and I got really excited. I was just like, oh, those posters look amazing. And then I looked at the figure, and I said, it actually looks pretty good. I didn't pay attention to the Rodimus next to it in terms of size, but I was just like, it actually looks pretty good. I wonder what it looks like up close.
And then did you look it up close?
Then I looked at it up close, and I thought the combined mode still looked good. Some of the, I'm sure we'll go through the other modes, and I'll talk about that, but I thought the combined mode looked good. Now that you mentioned the size next to Rodimus, I'm like, all right, this doesn't look very big. It also, my initial thoughts of this Predaking in general was I always felt like from the toy I was thinking about Predaking a little bit more chunkier and heavier. And I remember, and thank you fans as well for reminding me, like in the episodes, the Toon, he was thinner and, looked like he worked out, slim workout instead of the beefy, chunky workout. So this looks accurate.
Yeah, so why don't we just go through all the modes, and I have it starting off with the Beast modes. Dive Bomb looks like a butterfly in all the best ways. That's not a knock. I think if they retooled it with a different head, I would buy it as a standalone butterfly figure. I think it looks really cool.
Mothra.
That's going to be their next collab. There you go, Bobby. You could go ahead and work for Takara. But honestly, these are a little bit lackluster. Maybe we're spoiled with,
King
toys. Yeah. But at the same time, if you were to tell me these were the Legends ones, the core class ones, I would have been like, yeah, okay, they look like them. You know what I mean? They're not wowing me. Maybe that's because they're not in color, and these are first impressions. But they look okay.
So I'm right there with you. I actually saw these and thought they were a step above core class as well. The Rhino in particular, Headstrong, the front legs.
Yeah.
I was just like, everybody else's legs look, I could tell those are legs. His just look like he has cankles, you know.
Especially when the back legs are so normal for a rhino, and then the front legs are like,
yeah. So I actually did not like the way Dive Bomb looked.
I don't really like the way he looks either. I think I even pointed that out when we looked at the original thing, and I didn't like the head.
It did in combined mode.
Yeah, and I still don't. I mean, I can't see it that well in these pictures, but it doesn't look like a bird to me. I don't even see two legs. It could be hidden, but it looks like a moth or a butterfly or something from this angle.
Yeah. The part that I do like about these is that you can definitely tell that, and this is where the step up from the core class Dinobots, for instance, you can see that there's some girth in between. Like you can see that there's some transformation, you know, that's going to take place. You can see that like maybe the legs look like they can move, more so like the I don't know, the forearm, shoulders, and the thighs of it look like they can rotate. There looks like there's some definition in the characters. Not necessarily Dive Bomb, because like you said, I can't tell where his feet are. It almost looks like he has one foot. But like the others, it looks like there might be some articulation with them there. I do want to see these in color as well. But they just look okay. I think you were right when you said that we're spoiled by Kang toys, and I'm trying not to associate it with them, but it's hard not to.
Yeah, I don't. We'll talk about what we think the price is going to be at the end, because I think that's going to be a factor into this. This is where it kind of fell apart for me, though, in the bot mode. I don't know about you two. All I looked at was Rampage's legs and how open they were. Like that I was like, this is supposed to be a premium figure. And then I looked around and Dive Bomb has the same thing. Razor Claw's legs are strange looking. You know, I don't like the Razor Claws bigger than the rest of them. I know I talk about that I like different sizes in my combiners. This is one combiner that was so cool in G1 that they were all the same size. I don't know why that stuck with me. So it looks more like a typical combiner. I mean, yeah, I think this is the worst mode out of all of them from what we've seen so far. Again, disclaimer. But that being said, it's not horrible, but it really reminds me of the Make Toys combiners. Like the Computron you have and the Defensor, you have the oversized version.
Mm-hmm.
But just pretend it's smaller. That's what this really reminds me of.
The first thing I noticed was how big Razor Claw was and how small everyone else was. That threw me off. I like you, I'm used to Predaking them all being the same size. And also in combined mode, it doesn't look like there's that much size difference between them. Like they look like either Razor Claw extends a lot or these guys compact a lot. The limbs compact a lot, because it didn't look that way. Also, I didn't notice the the legs or whatever that is hanging off the side of Razor Claw.
Yeah, they're the feet, I believe.
Right, and I'm like, okay, is it, you know, are they trying to do an all-in-one combiner? You know,
I don't think so. I think that's just a way to put them where they look like guns. Because if you also look, Tantrum has the big guns that Razor Claw usually has, which threw me off as well.
Yeah, so I don't like that.
And I don't know what Headstrong's holding, but he has like a giant
cannon
tube.
Or
it doesn't look like a cannon to me. But again, it's not the best image because I zoomed in.
Yeah, so those were the kind of the things that threw me off. It looked like Abominus, the main body of Abominus. I can't think of his head right now. Hunger.
Hunger. Yeah.
Hunger. You know, with the two dragon heads.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was just like, is that what's hanging off him? So I didn't like that it looks like that. Now again, maybe it'll look different in color. But so far I agree with you. The bot mode does look like the worst mode of this. the combined mode is definitely where it's at so far out of all 3 modes to me.
Yeah. And I just have to point this out because I like pointing out little funny things. They switched Tantrum and Rampage, but they didn't change their names at the bottom in Japanese. So it says Rampage where Tantrum is. So just pointing that out. I know you can't read it.
Yeah, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, so hopefully these are a little bit better. We'll have to see. But they really put their focus into the combined mode, and he does come with a bit of stuff. And I think there's pants. With how small those limb bots are, I think this is a frame. Because those limbs are tiny, tiny, tiny.
That's
and
what I'm
they
saying.
only make up the shins and maybe the upper part of the arms, and that's it. From what I can see, I think. I could be wrong. You never know. There could be some really cool mechanization in there that folds out and flips out and blah, blah, blah. But I don't think there is. If it is that way and it's a frame, I'm out.
I'm looking at it now, and I can see like how Tantrum and Headstrong are kind of like plugged in on top of the feet a little bit, and then like they actually look like this big, and feet are big, so it makes it look bigger. And then I guess the thigh plugs in or whatever. But yeah, maybe. And I can't tell the arms, so I can say this. I do want to see it in color still, but this looks better than what we're getting from the mainline combiners. True.
I still think it's kind of legend scale. Looking at the Rodimus right next to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, Tantrum would go up to his like knee.
Yeah. Now, yeah. I'm a little bit now. With that being said, I'm hoping that this is chug scale at least.
I think it will be in combined mode.
I'm hoping so. If that's the case, well, 2 things. If this is legend scale and they made it look like the combined mode look like this in legend scale, and Hasbro couldn't do that with their main line, shame on them for that. Because 2, I hope this is chug scale, and if Hasbro didn't do this in the chug scale, shame on them again. I just think that this looks like a combiner. This looks like a functional combiner. Again, the limbs aren't perfect, whichever way you want to look at it, size or whatever. But this looks great, and I'm gonna say great compared to what we've been seeing with other combiners from Hasbro in particular. This looks really good. I mean, when we first saw it, we were both like, "Yeah, I'm in." Size now, that might throw a little monkey wrench on it. I know you have a issue with the frame and stuff like that a little bit more than I do.
Yes, exactly. I mean, the frame, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if I didn't have a Predaking. I literally have King toys. I'm looking at it right here. That kind of hits all the hits all the points that I want, except for one thing, and that's the head.
The head.
That's the only. I'm surprised nobody has come out with an upgrade kit for that head. I would pay a pretty penny for a G1 head to pop on that thing. Either which way, that's
a pretty penny. $20, $50,
about 50. I would, if it had light up features and stuff. Like I've said on this channel, Predaking's my favorite combiner.
Okay.
This is still tempting. I want to see it in color. I want to see the size. I like that it comes with 2 swords. That's kind of cool. Don't know what that's about. The sword looks better than King Toy's sword because I don't like the Cheeto aspect of that one. I will give them that. As long as, they could still paint it orange, I guess. But other than that, I'm interested. I want to see more. But let's talk about price. Before we go talk about price, is there anything else you want to say?
Can you flip back to the bot modes?
Of course.
So, okay, they don't come with swords.
No, they don't come with individual swords. From these, maybe they have them and they weren't ready for prototype. You don't know. That's also something. Predaking needs their swords.
Well, and again, being spoiled, and I'm again trying to be unbiased. I think King Toys has set a standard that's so high in quality, build, size,
even price when you think about it.
and yeah, even price. But it's also a stylized version. They added more bots that aren't, so we still don't really have a true G1 Predaking.
Mm-hmm.
This might be it for the recent future.
I do see some companies picking up a Predaking.
Oh, I do too.
I just win with these Devastator Wars.
Future. Yeah, the recent future.
Yes.
Because there's the SD Super Deformed one that I think is so cute. I think that's by Lucky Cat or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
That's so cute, and that gives us that. But yeah, I think that this might actually be the standard for a little while. This might be the reigning king of a 5-bot combining Predaking.
Yeah, could be. And I think it would look really good with the Leo Kaiser from Iron Factory as well, if they're the same size. But that aside, let's talk about price really quick. So that Rodimus is 200. I think this is going to be 400.
God.
I mean, it's going to have more moving pieces, more separating, more paint probably because of the gold and whatnot. I'm seeing this as 400, and if it's 400, I'm completely out.
I think I'd be out too. And so let me change that. If it looks the way we're looking at it now, with gaps, which I mean the gaps are going to be there. If it's small, if it's all the things that we said we didn't like about it, if those things hold true at 400, I'm out. If those things aren't necessarily true, again, the size is a little bit bigger, the colors look really good, the bots, even though they're gappy, they still look really good. I may or may not be in, but 400. I'm just thinking about some of the other things I would get with 400.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just thinking parts count and all that is probably double Rodimus. You know what I mean?
Well, I actually think that's a fair price, because I'm thinking about, again, the main line, what they're charging for, $90 for the the main bot, and then $25 for each limb.
Yeah. So it's about 200 with
200, and it doesn't look, in my eyes, it doesn't look as good as this.
It does not. Yeah. So
what price would you be comfortable paying for this?
What would I be comfortable? Probably 200.
Realistically, 200. Okay.
200. If it was the same price as the Rodimus, I think that would be an appropriate price for a 5-bot combining team. But I don't think it's going to be that.
Now, do you think the 200 is appropriate for Rodimus?
No.
Okay. So
I don't. Even though it has all that paint and stuff, I think that thing should probably be 120 with the size, and it doesn't look very complex. But we both know Takara
has a premium
for their own reasons. Everything's sky high. I mean, that one Prime was $450 with the trailer, the new MP-44, I believe it is, which is crazy prices to me. And I know there's much more going on than third party, I get that. But still, I don't think that's an appropriate price for that Rodimus. I wanted that Rodimus until I saw the price. So.
Well, you also wanted it in a repaint, but.
Yes. And I still might get that repaint if it's 200, because if it looks stunning, because I have a whole collection of black ones. But if I needed a normal Rodimus, I wouldn't be opposed to it if it was 120. But not 200's way too much for me.
Okay. I was just curious. When you said 200, I didn't know if you were comparing it to what the Rodimus cost.
No, I'm just thinking what I would think is, okay, that's a fair price.
Based off of again, what the Menasor and Superion cost, if we're saying roughly 200, this should cost more than those.
Well, I would expect those to be cheaper too.
By comparison, but I mean, just by the looks and stuff,
it should be. This looks a lot more complicated, a lot more.
It looks
integrated into it.
It looks better. Flat out looks better. So I would actually do the difference of what you said. You know, the Rodimus should be 120. It's 200, so an $80 difference. If this was like 280, I'd probably be in.
Okay. Yeah. I still wouldn't be in. I don't think.
Again, if it matched the other things that we're looking at, if it had the size that we want and da da da.
And who knows? This maybe is an undersized prototype. Doubt it, but it could be. You never know.
Doubt it.
Yeah. So
I see an MPG symbol hanging off the side somewhere.
What do you mean? This is Masterpiece Predaking. That's what they're going to say next.
Yeah.
So let us know your thoughts down below. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you kind of indecisive like both of us? And we'll be talking about this on our regular news. We just thought there was a lot to unpack here for its own episode. So let us know on all that below, and we will see you in the next one.
Yes, as always, to all debates are won. Keep the comments coming. See you next time.